Next up, Sports Talk family and friends. What's going on? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It does help with the growth and the visibility of the channel. Yup, this is the post-match press conference review that had Coach Steve McClaren and Joel Latibaudiere explaining exactly what happened and what could be better going forward. Thank you to my Lord and Savior for another one, because without him, none of this would be possible. Shout out to every one of you that continue to like the content on the platform, share the content on the platform, and definitely get into the conversation on this game that we love, especially our reggae boys. You know how it go already, and reggae girls, because we can't leave them out. But right now, we're talking about the reggae boys and their post-match press conference review. Hope everybody's blessed, stay blessed, and stay safe continually as we move forward. So we start off the top with Coach McClaren. Here's some of the things that Coach McClaren had to point out for the media as they asked questions regarding what happened in the game and why did we end up with a draw at the National Stadium in front of an almost sold-out crowd. Number one thing, the left and the right back, according to the coach, they played very poor. Didn't play the greatest of games. Dexter looked a little bit out of form. And so the results was there. Defensively, they didn't make much mistakes. They made a few mistakes, but not a lot of mistakes. But usually Greg Lee and Dexter Lambakisa overlap. They're very good on the ball going forward offensively. They help the midfield to build up the play. And we didn't get that in the game against Honduras. They struggled to put the ball into the box successfully. They struggled to make those down the line passes to a Tyreek McGee, to a Damari Gray. And you can see that it was something to a Norman Campbell. It wasn't successful. And those are some of the things that Coach McClaren was definitely pointing out. Some of the other things that Coach McClaren pointed out that I want to point out to you, my people, is the team was nervous. No willingness to really take the game to Honduras. You could see that from the beginning. They came out almost okay with just coming away with a draw. The tempo was very slow. And so that obviously affected the way the game started out early. Honduras came in, just wanted to dominate the middle of the field. If they dominate the middle of the field, that means that they dominate the game. And so by dominating midfield, it slowed down the build-up play from the back line for Jamaica going into the final third. They just wanted to control the game and not move forward with any tempo and pace. No speed in the game. And y'all seen that already. No speed in the game. The mindset was get the result. Don't concede, but get a result. And the result in the mind was draw. If you get a draw, you top the group. And it wasn't so much about winning the game, but more about just not losing the game. And if you get a draw, you didn't lose the game and you got the point in order to top the group. The key thing for the coach and his coaching staff that they told the players was result and top the group. Get a result and top the group. The players went into the game with no aggressiveness, with no hunger to go forward and score goals, but rather to not give up any goals. That's why defensively, they was more sound than they were offensively. And so in the mindset, they went into the game, we're not going to concede, but we're also not going to score. Not to say that's what they said, but that's what happened on the field. And the game definitely was at a walking pace. The result seemed to be more important. So to the coach, the result was more important than the performance. He wasn't worried about the performance. He just wanted the result. And that result is getting into the knockout stage of this Nation League, CONCACAF Nations League. Get into the knockout stage. Get into the knockout stage. Get into the knockout stage. Coach wanted to control the possession. That's how Coach McClaren wants the team to play. Control the possession, build it up from the back, and be effective. Be effective in those areas like the final third, in the middle of the field, be effective when you're on the ball, control the ball, dominate the ball. And we clearly did not see any of that for the most part in the game against Honduras. He pointed out some other keys. Home games haven't been effective in the final third. So the game against Cuba, we got a draw. Same thing. Wasn't effective in the final third. There was no threat in the final third. In this game against Honduras that we drew again, another draw at home, the final third was non-existent. Non-existent. There was no threat to the final third of our opponents. And that right there is something that Coach McClaren is scratching his head, trying to figure out how he can get the team to perform at a high level in the final third. Coach wants to create an identity, be hard to beat at home, be hard to beat, period. Anytime you see Jamaica on the schedule, anytime you see the Reggae Boys on the schedule, the coach would love for teams to start to second guess and third guess themselves of whether or not they're going to win this game, because Jamaica is hard to beat. Defend as a team. I think defending as a team is something that's becoming more and more of a standard. Defend as a team, defend as a team, defend as a team. So the coach was very delighted with the way the team defended today. Mason Holgate made his debut for Jamaica. Defensively, both coach and his teammate Joel Lati-Bauder felt like Mason Holgate played a sensational defensive game. Coach McClaren pointed out Holgate was trying to push the issue with the long balls, trying to get something going because there was nothing happening in the midfield. The Honduras players, they clogged the midfield. All the passing lanes in the midfield was completely blocked up. So that's the reason for all those long balls from Mason Holgate, just trying to pick out Damari Gray, trying to pick out Michael Antonio, trying to pick out Norman Campbell from the back line. And it was just not successful. It wasn't successful for the whole team offensively. But Mason Holgate on his debut for Jamaica was great defensively, according to the coach and his teammate, Joel Lati-Bauder. Coach wasn't pleased with the slow tempo in the first half. It was too slow of a pace in the first half. Coach wants to play with speed. Coach wants to play with speed. And that did not happen in the first half of the game. And so, Coach made some changes. Coach brought on Cephas and Dixon to create speed and tempo for the game, which they did. Why? Because going up the middle was non-existent. Going up the middle for the Reggae Boys wasn't going to happen. So coach took out Tyreek McGee, brought in Cephas, and brought in Kaheem Dixon, because now they got to play on the outside. They got to play on the outside, and they want to play with speed so that they can get up the field and attack the final third and be successful. Now, the changes for me for Dixon was a little too late. For Mario Williams coming in was too late. And so if it was a little earlier, maybe we could get a little bit a momentum shift, because the momentum was clearly in the favor of Honduras. Now, did it work? Yes. Cephas and Dixon came in and they played with a lot of speed going up the wing. They created chances not only for themselves, but for their teammates as well. They put pressure on the back line of Honduras. They made them have to think a few times. We got a few corner kicks off of those plays. So that was successful by Steve McClaren, just wanting to play with speed. Now, he talked about loving Cephas and Dixon as players because they play with speed, and that's what he would love to do. He also noted that it's hard to go through the middle versus Honduras. So he had to make some changes with the wings and bring on those two players, like I just told you right there. Also, Coach McClaren is not a fan of turning the ball back. He doesn't want to turn the ball back. He wants a midfielder, wants to build up from the back. He wants to press forward with speed and press forward with the quality that he knows the players. We all know the players have the quality. I think they got to play together. They got to trust each other. They got to trust each other's games. All the things that they work on the training pitch, they got to translate that to the game. They've got to take that to the game in order to be successful. And I feel like that's where the shortcomings came against Honduras. Honduras started to tighten up the middle. And as they tightened up the middle, Jamaica started to get tight in their legs. They got tight in their mind. They wasn't really thinking of how to be creative to bypass this stuffed up, clogged up middle of the field by Honduras. All right, let's move on. Coaches put Tyreek McGee in his natural position as a number 10, but it was tough in the middle for Casey Palmer, for Joel Latibaudiere, and for Tyreek McGee. Whenever they got the ball, those Honduras players was on immediately. Immediately, they were getting taken off the ball. Casey Palmer picked up the ball, he turned, and he had 2 or 3 guys kicking at his feet. Same thing with Tyreek McGee. Tyreek McGee wanted to play a 1-2, but everything was just so slow. He wants to play with pace, but there's nobody there to complement him. There's no support in playing fast through the middle for Tyreek McGee. So the coach just decided, like, you know what? I'm not even going to waste no time with that. I'm just going to go up the middle, up the sidelines with Cephas and Dixon. He also felt like the team didn't take any risks. What do you think? If you reached this far, hit that like and subscribe button. But what do you think, my people? All my football lovers, all the Reggae Boys fans out there, do you feel like the team took risk? I don't think they took any type of risk to try and push the game forward in their favor. And clearly, Coach McClaren says up front, there was no risk. Nobody didn't take no shots on goal. Nothing that was threatening to the Honduras team. So they kind of sat in their defensive shell and controlled the game from the middle of the park. And they don't have the offensive quality that the Reggae Boys do. So they weren't able to turn that into offense because Ethan Pinnock, Mason Holgate, Dexter, and Greg Lee was shutting shop down. They locked the shop. Andre Blake back there, you're not beating Andre Blake unless he's having a bad game. And Andre Blake rarely has a bad game. Rarely has a bad game. So coach said, we got the players and the talent. We got the players and the talent. We just need to work better at the system. And we didn't see no set pieces either. We got some great in the air players. When balls are in the air, Ethan Pinnock, phenomenal. Holgate, phenomenal. Michael Antonio, phenomenal. But we didn't see any cross from none of our specialists, whether it's Dexter, whether it's Greg, whether it's Damari, Norman Campbell, nothing in the box, nothing. Whether on a corner kick, nothing that was threatening. Once we can get that set piece, if we can get that set piece down pat, scary. We're going to be scary for a lot of teams in the air on set pieces. So remember, I told you that. He was very happy with Tyreek McGee's play. He felt like Tyreek McGee, he tried his best. He tried to pick up the pace. He tried to push the game forward, but they clogged up the middle and there was no support from his teammates. That's me saying that. There was no support from his teammates. I can see he was trying his best. He ran his foot off. He ran the jersey off his body, to be honest with you, but there was no support. The team didn't want to play with any speed, and Tyreek McGee is a tempo type of player, a tempo type of midfielder. He wants to play with tempo. He got to keep the ball moving. He got to keep the ball moving, knock it around. And there was nobody there to assist him in those areas. So those are some of the things that was said in the post-match press conference from the coach and from Joel Latibaudiere. But the keys I took away, let me know what the keys you took away from this game. Here's my keys from the coach. 1, the team was nervous. 2, no willingness to really take the game to Honduras. He said it very plainly. I'm looking for players who want the ball, who wants to dominate the ball, who wants to create with the ball. Still haven't seen that yet. Coach McClaren hasn't seen that yet from these players. Okay? Here's some other keys. Speed, 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 speed. How much more times does Coach McClaren have to say, I want to play with speed? I want to play with speed. 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 I want to play with speed. Everybody on the pitch walking. Walking. They walked the game again. Another game that the Reggae Boys walked the game. They walked the game. They walked the whole entire game. And coach wants to play with speed. He told you what his identity is. I'm sure they've worked on it in the training session. And clearly he said, whatever we did, we had a fantastic training session where everything that we wanted to do, we did. It never translated into the game. Great training session, terrible game. Now, the training sessions, they have to go into the game. In order to stay in the squad, again, Coach McClaren said, you have to train well, perform well, play well, and be successful. Those are some of he's giving you the keys to what he's looking for in the players to perform. You know what the coach is looking for. Defensively, he's delighted with the way we're playing defensively, but he wants to see dominance in the midfield and dominance in the final third. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree that the Reggae Boys must be more clinical in the final third, show the quality that we all know they have? Everybody know Jamaica got the quality. Everybody. That's why they're so fearful. And dominate the midfield. The midfield has been, we've been missing. Can't see us in the midfield. No midfield presence at all. At all. That warrants a game like this. Build up from the back. Ethan Pinnock, Holgate, Damian Lowe. They're building up from the back. They're trying to build up from the back. But with the midfield is non-existent, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And there's only so much over-the-top long balls you're going to play that's going to beat teams that have quality. It's not going to happen. So there has to be more trust and more creativity from our midfield and our wingers that were non-existent. Our specialists, non-existent. Coach said specialists, they weren't special today. They weren't special today at all. I got to go over my notes, make sure I give you everything that was said in this post-match press conference. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you've reached this far in the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Possess, build up, and be effective in the final third. And play with speed. Play with speed, control the possession of the ball, dominate the ball, defend well, and be effective in the final third. Be effective in the final third. Those are some of the things that coach, I believe, is hoping. He's praying. He's begging that the players, and he's still searching for players that can execute the things that he would like in order to get the result. Now, I'm going to say this. To me, football is a simple game. And here's why I say it's a simple game. Dominate the area of the field you are occupying. Whatever area of the field you are in, you have got to dominate it. Don't worry about what your teammates doing on the other side. Whatever that little square on the field, whatever 10, 15, 20 yards that you have, you must dominate, 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 dominate that part of the field. Every player, if every player focus on dominating their part of the field, the game will come together tremendously. The results will be tremendous. That's how I see it. You let me know how you see it in the comment section. Let's have this conversation because the coach is letting it known what he's looking for, what he's not seeing, but he knows it can be done. Are we close? No, but he knows it can be done. Going into the knockout stage, these are the things that we need to worry. But I want these players to just focus on dominating your area of the pitch. Dominate your matchup. Dominate your matchup. Dominate your matchup. I don't know how much times I'm going to say it. Smash that like and subscribe button. Stay blessed. Stay safe. And listen, I'm going to catch you on the next one. We really miss Bobby Reed in this game. Really miss Bobby Reed in this game. His motor, his movement was missing this game. Stay blessed. I'm out of here.
This next up, sports talk, yeah, homie, now that's us. You ain't tuning in, then you're hustling backwards. We always keep it poppin', tell your partner to slide through. Every sporting event, just hit us up and we got you, cause we what? Next up, next up, yeah, next up, next up, yeah, next up, next up, yeah, next up, next up. Next up, sports talk. Don't even trill, homie, we got you. Yeah.